Hey guys, it's Rachel at From Moments to Milestones, and I'm here today with our techniques class. This is featuring foiling with and without heat. We're going to be using a mink machine today, but a lot of these things we'll do with the mink can also be done with some laminators. But this is what we're going to use. We're using the mink machine from Pink and Maine, so it's pretty pink. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And one feature with this mink machine that you won't find with laminators is there are different levels of heat here. So 1 to 5. I'm gonna stick on 3 today. That's a pretty good happy medium there. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on and get it warming up. When it's ready to go, that light will turn green. So I'm gonna set that off to the side and get that so that's ready when we are. So your kit, let's talk about that. These are the end projects we'll do after we learn some techniques. So these couple cards and a tag. But inside your kit, you are going to find, you should have the 3 kits, the tag and the 2 card kits. This is something we're going to do at the end of class, but you won't have something that looks like that. You're going to have a piece of copy paper folded up, and inside you're going to have a cardstock panel and all the foil you're going to need for our projects. And you're also going to have a package of this Pink and Maine Big Flakes adhesive transfer stickies. So this is these are like rub-ons, and we're going to use these on our project today. They're here. So what you do is you rub on that image, peel it off, and then it's sticky and the foil will stick to it. So it says on the back too, you can also use it with glitter, flock, embossing powder, but we're going to use it with foil today. And so then you'll have plenty of images to play with when we're done. So some additional supplies you will need for this class. One will be a laminator or a mink machine. The tacky when dry, what did I do with that? Yes, this from the Crafters Workshop, tacky when dry gel medium, and we're going to run this through a stencil, which you will also need a stencil. I am using the Photo Play Crafting with My Nomies Heart stencil, but any stencil will work. We're going to be using it on this card, so whatever you think would go good with that. So you're going to need those 2 things. Obviously a palette knife to work with the medium, the background stencil. So something else we're going to use from Heidi Swap is she has a toner ink. So it comes in a package like this, and you also will need the stamp pad. So I have mine filled with toner already, but what you do is you buy these stamp pads, and they come with these refills, the blue pads. These are like disposable. You use them once they dry out, they're done, and you'll have to put toner in a new one. So I have that one ready to go. You just pour the toner onto the ink pad. So I'll have that ready to go. And a background stamp. So this is for our tag. This is where we use the toner. So the toner allows you to use your stamped images and then foil them. So that's pretty cool. Today we are using the Stampendous Slim Snowflake Wishes Slimline rubber stamp here. So we're going to use that. So you'll need some kind of background stamp that you want to put on this tag. And then obviously you're going to need some coloring mediums. We have a couple images here that need colored. We have the little bear and the seal, and various foam and regular adhesives. So let's go ahead, and we are going to start by, we're going to grab the red kit, and we're going to pull out this white paper. And I'm going to leave everything else inside. We're going to pull out the white paper, and we're going to need our stencil, the palette knife, and the tacky when dry. And we're going to start with this because the tacky when dry needs time to dry, and then it becomes tacky. So I did a sample earlier to kind of show you. So this one was done yesterday. It's still tacky to the touch. And what's cool about this product is you can use this with no heat. So once that dries, you can stick the foam on, rub it with your fingers, and you will get foil. So, but we're going to start with that so it has time to dry. And a couple things to think about is how thick you put it on. So if you put on a super thick layer, it's going to take a lot longer to dry. So I have a waffle flour mat here that I'm going to use to stencil on. I'm going to pull off my protective layer. And it has a protective layer on both sides, so ideally you could stick it down to your mat so it won't move at all, but I'm not worried about that today. So I am going to stick, maybe I'll put something white under it so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Let's do that. So I am going to put my panel right there, and it sticks to it because it's kind of sticky. And I'm going to put my stencil over it, press the stencil in, so now it's not going to move on me. And I'm going to open my tacky when dry. And so this has, it's not real thick, it's real thin, almost like a glue. It's really probably what it is. So I'm going to get some on my palette knife, and I'm just going to pull it down. So I don't want it real thick. I don't need to go all the way in the middle because there's nothing there. All right, get all the excess off, put it back in the jar. And this stuff is sticky. Whoops. I get out a baby wipe. Clean off my knife. And then I like to clean around this before I close it so it doesn't glue shut. And I'm going to put the lid on. And I'll pull off my stencil and get that cleaned up. Pull off my project. I'm just going to set this off to the side and let it dry. If you have stuff on the edges, I like to just take my palette knife and run along the edges to get that off. A little bit around the center as well. All right, so I'm just going to set that off to dry, and then we'll come back to that. And I will get my station cleaned up here. All right, I have my stencil all cleaned up. You do not want to let that sit. When that dries, it can kind of be a little bit harder to get off. A little rubbing alcohol will work. But I wanted to show you the difference, so hopefully the light is catching that. You can see how this is like translucent and shiny. This is also shiny, but it's white and you can't see through it. So this is what it looks like wet. And this is what it should look like when it's dry and ready to use. All right, so let's see. Got that done. Let's go ahead and move to this blue card. Just a note to chase the winter blues away. So what you're going to need to do is pull out this diagonal striped paper and the circle for now. And we are going to use the stickies on this. So you're going to need your stickies here, and these are like rub-ons, but they're going to be sticky when you rub them on. So I have used a few of mine. So you get 3 of the same sheets. So on my card, I used this large one here. And what you're going to need to do is cut it out because it has a backing sheet on it. And you don't want to pull off the backing sheet. As soon as you lay down, all those things are going to stick to everything. So go ahead and cut out the one you want to use. So I will go ahead And just gonna go in, cut that out, put everything else back. All right, so we're gonna peel off that backing. We don't need that part. And so it's black so you can see where you're putting it. So I'm just gonna center it on my circle, press down, and then I'm gonna use a bone folder or you can use a popsicle stick, whatever you've got, and I'm just gonna rub it on, just like a rub-on. All right, so I'm going to start over here on one side, and when you start to pull, I can see, I don't know if the light is catching, I'm going to try to move it in the light. It should be shiny. There's a little bit right here that was not, so you're going to want to pull it off slow, just like you would a normal rub-on, and make sure that it's all transferring. And it did. Now you can throw this away or keep it if you like the idea of a black printed acetate snowflake. You could certainly reuse those. If not, you can toss it. And now you have this, and I'm just going to touch a little slightly tacky. And so we're going to get into our foil here. And so these can be used without heat or with heat. You kind of get a better result with heat, but if you don't have the heat, then you certainly can get away with not using it. So you're going to have in here like a square of foil. There's also a rectangle. You could use either one, but the smaller square is meant for this. And we are just going to put it down onto that transfer, and I'm just going to use my fingers. Sorry for shaking the table, and I'm just going to rub over the image. I don't know if you can hear that bubbling over there. That is the laminator. It's nice and warm. All right, so I've got it rubbed on, and I'm going to slowly peel it back and see, and make sure if you see a spot you didn't get, just put it back down and rub again. And voila, you have a very pretty foiled snowflake. So that piece is ready. And like I said, you can certainly put it through the heat if you want, but you don't have to. Now this sheet that's in your kit is a product from Pink and Main, and they are called foilables. They come like this. In this package there are 8 of these. They're 4 by 5¼ inch panels, and they have toner. Where the black is toner. And so once we put that through our laminator or mink, it's going to transfer the foil to wherever the black is. And so they have lots of different varieties, and other companies do too, of toner printed designs that you can use in foil. So let's get into our foil. You're going to need the large piece of the blue sparkle. So that is so pretty. It's got like little stars in it. And I'm going to pull the mink over. It's nice and warm and ready to go. We have a green light, which tells us it's ready to go. And with your mink machine, you also will get a, I don't know what I've done with it, a transfer folder that you can put in the machine. So let's set this over for a second. So I'm going to take the toner sheet, and then one thing that is suggested to do would be to have a Swiffer cloth. So I have one that I've cut up here. I've got some different sheets. And to make sure you get a nice, good transfer, You want to make sure there's no hair or dust on your foil. So I'm going to rub the back of the foil, and I'm going to rub over the toner sheet. And then I'm going to put the foil pretty side up. So whatever foil you're using, the shiny side up. The other side is more dull. Shiny side up on top of the toner, and I'm going to slide it into the folder. And now, since our machine is ready to go, we're just going to slide it in, and it's going to feed through there and transfer that foil. All right, so that is through there. It's a little warm, but not so hot you can't touch it. So we'll get that out of the way for now. And I'm gonna open it up, take out our project. And you can let it cool a little bit. It's really, I don't find it super necessary, but you can. And then you're just gonna peel back the foil, and you are left with this beautiful foiled image. Okay? And then hold on to your scraps. Towards the end of the video here, I'll show you some ways that we use those. So, I mean, you can certainly toss it, but that is a really cool pattern you could use again on something else. So I'm going to set that off. I'm actually going to put it right back in here. And so those two things are ready to go. I'm actually going to tuck them back inside, and then we'll come back and put all the cards together at the end after we do all of our techniques here. All right, so now we're going to move on to this tag. So we're going to open up the tag kit. You're going to need your tag. And then also inside are some black die cuts. So you have the word thank you. Maybe easier to dump it all out and put back what I don't need. So we don't need the vellum or the white or the tooling or mesh or the twine. Okay, so you should have these images that have been die cut out of another product from Pink and Main called Foilables as well, but these are just toner sheets. So they're solid toner sheets. You get 8 sheets in here. Now this is the package I used for class, so it's all cut up, but it's like a, I think it's like a 4 by 5 1/4 as well, and it's a solid black sheet, and it's covered in toner. Okay, and so what you can do is foil, and it will cover the whole sheet. So then you can foil this whole sheet and then die cut out of it. You can die cut out of the foiled part or out of the toner sheet and then foil it, which is what I chose to do here. And I've kept all my scraps just so I could use them again. So, and lots of, other companies make these sheets as well. You can buy them, I saw them 8.5 by 11, so there's lots of options on that as well. But it allows you to use your die cuts or punches. This was actually a punch, so, and foil them. So, pretty cool. So what we're going to do is get out our folder here, and let's get out some foil. So you have another sheet in here of the teal. It's like a 3 by 4, I think. And we are going to put down the thank you. Let's just do that. The thank you and I'm just going to layer them like so. And you can, if you want to, use I think I'm just going to use the Swiffer on the back of the foil. Let's see if we make sure we get rid of any dust. And it's kind of harder to do on these smaller images, so we'll just leave it like so. I kind of have an imperfection on my thank you, so I may not foil the best, but that's okay. So we're going to cover those images with the foil. Get this stuff out of the way and bring the mink back over. And then we're going to run those through. All right, so that's through. You can already see the die cuts popping through there. So I'm going to open this up. And I'm just going to flip it over. So there's my images on there. And I'm just going to peel them away so you can see my thank you. Very beautiful. And all those snowflakes. So those pieces are all foiled and ready to go. And then, like I said, you can save this. You've still got plenty of foil to use there, or you can toss it, whatever. But we do have some projects at the end that will use our scraps. So for now, I would suggest holding on to them. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck those back in. Those are ready to go. And now we are going to work on our tag. So you have this large tag here, and this is where we're going to need a background stamp. So I have this one here, and we are going to use the toner ink. So I'm going to open carefully because this will stain. Okay. And I like to just pull out the little plastic piece, and I'm just going to stamp it on there. So we're going to go make sure we get all of our tag on there. Now, I did see a, oops, I'm getting toner on that. I don't want to do that. I'll just flip it over. Now, if you want to conserve the toner that you get, I did see a tip that you could buy a small dauber bottle. I bought this on Amazon. It's like a bingo dauber kind of, but it comes empty, and I poured the toner inside. So you could also use it like this, and then your toner will never dry up, because when that dries up, I'm going to have to toss it and start over. So just an option there. So a little dauber bottle with the ink, and you can just pour it in there, and then you'll have it. It's not going to dry up, and it'll make this last longer. So just a little tip. But this is also, this works. It just can use up your ink a little bit faster. All right, so I'm going to put down my tag on top, and then I'm just going to get a piece of scratch paper, and I'm just going to press that image into there. That's how I like to do background stamps, but if you were using a stamp tool, you could certainly do that as well. So I feel like that's good. And you don't want to let it sit too long. You can hear how sticky that is. I have had it rip my paper, so I'm going to pull it off, and we have that image there. So a few spots I didn't press as hard, and that's where if you were using a stamping tool, you could certainly go back in. But I'm happy with that. We're going to kind of get a distressed look. And then there also is a stamp cleaner from Heidi Swap, so I'm just going to put some on there real quick, and I'll probably run it under the sink when I'm done. But I'm just going to put that on there. I mean, it will stain your stamp. It's toner. I want to make sure I can get it off. So I'll just put that on and set that aside to clean in a little bit. out my fingers. I don't want to get toner anywhere else. And now we are going to get back into your paper, and we're going to pull. You have 2 pieces of silver left, so you have a long skinny one and a full panel. So we want the skinnier one for a tag, and that's going to go right on top. So let's pull our mink over, and our transfer foil or folder. Where? I keep losing that. Here it is. It's hard to see. Mine's pretty beat up. You can buy refills of these. You could use parchment paper or copy paper. But I'm going to wipe down the foil. So the silver is a little bit harder to tell, which is that this is obviously the shinier side. This one's dull. And then I'm going to put my tag inside and put my foil on top. Okay. Oops, I missed a little spot up there at the top. Just want to make sure my image is covered. Okay. And it's okay if some of that is sticking out of the bottom. It doesn't have anything to stick to, so it's not going to stick to anything. It gets heated, but it needs something to stick to, so it's not going to ruin your machine. So go ahead and put that through. Alright, so we ran that through. Alright, just going to give it a good little press, and then I'm going to pull it off. And now you can see you have a foiled stamped image. So pretty. So that's ready to go. I'm going to put that back inside the kit folder, or the kit envelope. It's ready to go. And then let's go take a look at our tacky when dry and see if it is ready to go yet. Oh yeah. So it's lost that, it's starting to look translucent, it's sticky, so it is ready to go. So I'm going to get out my large piece of foil. And I'm going to lay it over the top. And then I'm just going to press down, and then I'm going to go through with my finger over each image and really give it a good press. And you can see those hearts popping out already. And so this is fun because you don't need heat. Alright, so I'm just going to pull that off. And if there are spots that I don't think I got good, you can always go back over it with more foil or just go rub again. That's, I like to pull off slowly. Make sure I got everywhere. All right, so there's that. So you got lots of scrap here to use. And so now, oh, I really pressed it in. I must have got something sticky on there. All right, so how pretty is that? Now we have that foiled panel. So I'm just going to stick that off to the side, and I think we are ready to assemble some of our cards. But maybe what we'll do before we assemble cards, I'm going to put this, but I'm not going to stick it in there just yet. Oh, there's one more thing to do. Let's get out our, well, we've got the meat machine still on. Let's talk about some other techniques that we can do. So on this paper here, I have, I put some different adhesives down. So we've got score tape, an easy runner, you can kind of see the lines. We've got an ATG gun, a couple different sizes of glue dots. This is a quickie glue pen, so I wrote with it and then foiled. A zig two-way glue pen, that's how we did that. And then these are foam, this is a foam square, a foam circle, a foam strip. Scrapbook adhesives also makes pre-die cut shapes, so you can foil over those. And I will say the foil that we're using today is made to use with no heat. So your Spellbinders glimmer foil will not work for these techniques. You'll need to find Thermoweb has some, Scrapbook Adhesives has some, Pink and Main has Cheerfoil. And it comes in rolls, so that's what you're looking for. So what I gave you this panel for is for you to try some things out. Put some of your adhesives down, and so I'll do one here for you. I'm just going to do it back on this so I don't have to waste another. Let me grab a foam square, and I'm just going to put it there. I'm going to grab a glue dot. So I got a larger one here, stick it on. And then we tried this in class. These are easy dots. So I'll put that here. Well, maybe it's out or broken. Oh yeah, it's not working. Okay, we won't use that one. I'll find something else. We'll just the ATG gun again. I'll just put another stripe up here. All right, so there's our little pieces. So I'm just going to get out some of this scrap foam. So there's the glue dot. I'm going to lay it on there. Press, pull off, and you have foil. So up here we have that ATG gun, pull off, and you have foil. And then the foam square. Oh, you gotta take off the backing for it to work. It's gotta be sticky. Okay. Press. So that's pretty cool. You could do some cool effects, different colors, so all cool things to use there. And then I do have a couple of samples. So with your excess foam, so you have this piece here that looks like this. So it has it's what we did the diagonal, the toner sheet on. So you can take this and those toner sheets that I talked about earlier where they're all black, you can run this through and then you would have a black and white or black and blue striped panel. So that's cool. And I did a scrap here so you can see that. If you put this onto, so scrapbook adhesives also, let's see if I have one in here. They make, here's a black one. They make full panels of adhesive foam that you can die cut out of, which you can see I've done here. And you could do black or white. So I'm just going to get a little chunk and show you here. So I'll just cut a strip of that. So I'm going to take the backing off, and I'm going to use this one. The one I used earlier I'm going to use just to use up my scraps. Okay, And so I'm going to put, oh no, don't stick. I'm going to put the well, maybe I am going to have to use it. I'll put that on there like so. Press it on so you don't need any heat here. And you can just pull that off. Just got to get it started. These bigger ones are a little bit harder. I'm going to use my Alright, so now, and the thing with the foam is where there's no foil, so those lines right there, they're still sticky. So we're going to try, let's put the blue down. So we're going to put the blue down where the, right over it again, and it's going to stick where the black lines are. Get it started here. And now you have blue and teal striped. So that's pretty cool. So there's a way you can do that. So just a few things you can do with your scraps. I think this scrap of the snowflake would be really pretty on like a toner sheet. I think that would be pretty cool. So just some ideas for you, different ways to use. Also, if you don't have this toner ink, another technique that I found, and I tried it over and over, and I didn't get great results, but I have seen people get great results, and that is to stamp an image and clear emboss it, and then put foil on top and run it through your machine. And this particular square, I just covered with Versamark, and I did, I think, 2 coats of clear embossing powder, and then that scrap from this piece here, I put it on the top and ran it through my machine. So it's more of a distressed look. I didn't get a great look, but it's still cool nonetheless. So another way to use the foil, but you will need the heat with that. So I think that was kind of everything we ran through. So now I think we're ready to put these cards together. I'm going to turn my ink off and we will assemble. So let's get this one out first. And I'm probably going to skip coloring my images today just because this is a techniques class that's really focused on the foiling, not the coloring. So I just use colored pencils on those images. So whatever you want to use, feel free. We do have one other thing here. I use some double-sided adhesive. If I can find that. Actually, I'll probably just use the ATG gun. So on the top, you can use double-sided adhesive like score tape. I'm not sure where mine went. And you're just going to put it on the edge. Oh, I didn't do a great job of that. Okay, scratch that. I'll just use a thinner strip. Right here I have some red line adhesive, so I'll show you how that works. We'll use that part to glue it to our project. So I'm just going to line the top with the red line adhesive. So my strip will be a little bit thinner, but that's okay. Cut off the excess. Sure it's on there good, and then I'm going to get out my, I'm going to use this page. There's lots of edges here to use. So I will pull off the backing, and then I'm going to put foam on there, or foil when I do that. So I'm just going to lay it down, press. Beautiful. So now you have that foiled edge that you can see here. All right, so that works great, the red line adhesive. And so that is just going to get glued to the back since I already have glue on there. It's glued to the back of your panel like so. And then I'm going to pop this whole thing up. All right, I'm going to finish pulling off the backing. That. And then one other thing we need to do before we put this down, because I almost forgot, you have the twine. And so I'm going to fold it in half and cut. Fold in half again, cut. And then I'm going to take 3 of those pieces and wrap them around the bottom. So I'm just going to stick them right into that foam right there and wrap and stick again. Okay, and let's see. They are going to go onto this red panel. So center it onto the red panel like so. Perfect. And then that third piece, you can go ahead and just tuck it under, and we're going to tie a bow. Get it the way I want it. Perfect. Just like so. So this panel is going to go onto my card base. So the top looks crooked for some reason. So let's fix that. Oh yeah, it's very... I must have stuck a piece in there that was not quite true. That's okay. All right. So that is going to go onto the card base. So let me... that one. There it is. And we have some hearts. So I have them up here kind of hanging off, so you'll need some foam underneath. So I'm going to glue them to each other first, and then you have the sealed with a kiss. So let's glue those together. I need to get my... oh. Some glue. Center it on that black piece. And then I'm going to put glue up here and here. And I'll just go in and tuck foam here in a second. Just take a piece of that same foam I used earlier. Fold backing off. And I'm just going to tuck it right under there. Maybe hide it, hopefully. There we go. All right, and then this sealed with the kiss is going to go right above. So your little seal, and you can pop him up as well. And let's slide him over a little so my sentiment. All right, some adhesive on the sentiment. And I'm going to color him later and put him on. And I just use gray, just colors to match. So grays, and then his hat and scarf are pinks and reds to match the card. And then this, I just took and put it right over that where the bow is tied. So get it where I want it. And that will keep your twine tight as well. Keep it from unraveling. All right, so that card is finished. All right, so let's move on to this cute little Chase Your Blues Away card. So again, I'm going to skip the coloring, but the bear is easy. He's a white, so maybe just some gray outlines and his hat to match the colors of the card. So we're going to put down this blue panel first. into the card base. So, and then the foiled diagonal sheet. And that gets centered on the blue. And then you have this little strip of blue, and that gets glued straight down as well. So I just have that centered on the card. And I went all the way to the top. So now it's on, and then I put foam on the back of that. And I'm just gonna center my little spot that didn't do so well, and I'm gonna cover it up with my bear. I'm gonna center that on that blue, leaving room down here because your little sentiment's gonna fit there. And I put this on foam as well. So I will just cut those down. And that's just gonna go at the bottom, centered in there, perfect. And then your little bear, you get him colored, and I popped him up as well in the center, just like so. All right, so that card is completed. And then lastly, we're gonna finish with that tag. So, dump out all those pieces. And you have that reinforcement circle, which is going to go right over this one. Okay. Let's see. So the way I did mine was I took the thank you and I stuck it straight onto the vellum. Do the thank, and then the you, put a block over that. And then because, let me get out my sample here. So on mine I glued it straight down, and so it doesn't make the thank you pop because it kind of, you know, pushes back that foil. But I didn't really like the way that looks. So I'm going to take this white thank you and put it behind so it gives it a little raise, and so you can actually see the vellum. I kind of like that look better, but it's up to you. You can certainly glue it straight down. And then we're going to pop up those 3 little snowflakes. So I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to take the thank you, and I'm going to put glue on the front. Oops. And then I'm just going to lay it on top of what's already there. That. And I'm going to do the same with the U. So I'm going to put the glue on the front. And put it right over the U. On there. I guess I'm going to still need that. So then you end up with that. So you can't even see the white behind there. And then when you lay it down, you're going to still be able to see the vellum, but like on mine, you can kind of see the I don't know, I don't feel like it looks like vellum. So anyway, I like this better. So I'm going to put glue on the back, just on the words. We don't want it to show through the vellum. All right, and I'm just, you can put it, I think this one I'm going to kind of put like so. And then I'm going to get out some little foam squares to put on the back of my snowflakes. These little ones I think I'm going to have to cut. Alright, so there's my thingy. So you can kind of see that vellum more. It pops up just a little bit, not so much. So there's the difference if you can see it. I like that better. And then I'm just gonna put these wherever you want. One down there, one up there. And then for the tooling, the mesh, I'm going to put it through so it's just halfway, like that. And then I'm going to take this twine and tie a knot and get it nice and tight. It is kind of a smaller piece, so if you can't get a bow out of it, just tie it twice and it'll stick up like so. You can also, on this twine, put some glue on the end. It just really likes to unravel. You put some glue on the end and get it back to, and maybe it'll quit doing that. Or you completely unravel it and embrace it. Okay. I think I'll just leave, I'm going to tie mine one more time and just leave them loose. All right, so there is that. All right, that does it for this foiling class. I hope you learned something about foiling with heat and without. If you're interested in a kit, we sell them on our website at frommomentstomilestone.com. This is the Foiling Winter Joy. That was the name of the stamp set we used from Pink and Maine. If you have any questions, let us know. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.